How to make big money from little money. That is what we are talking about here today, guys. I am Jeremy. This is a financial education channel, and today I'm giving you the 5 best ways that you can make a lot of money from a little money. Now, before I even get into this video and what the 5 things are, you've got to understand, when you're talking about making a lot of money from a little bit of money in a short amount of time, generally you're going to be talking about taking riskier bets, okay? You're going to be doing riskier things. These are not put some money in a savings account. These are not, put some money in the company that already has a 500 billion market cap. These are riskier type things, okay? These are a lot of things that I don't even really get involved with myself much. However, I get a lot of questions about it, so I figure I'm probably the best person to explain a subject like this and kind of give you the risk that you're going into with something like this. Now, first and foremost, if you're a person out there that has only little bits of money to invest, but you want to invest, generally speaking, what I'll say is you've got an income issue, so you need to focus on getting your income up. But however, that's not the point of this video. I just want to get that point across that you should be focusing on your income and not your investing. But at the same time, there's a lot of people who do have money, okay? And they feel like they need to do something a little riskier as far as like, put 5% of their money, put 10% of their money. I understand that, okay? I understand that, and that's why another reason why I'm addressing this video here today is because a lot of people just feel like they're in a lot of boring investments as it is, and they need something, put 5% of their capital or 10% of their capital to something a little riskier that gets the juices flowing, that's like gets them excited, that's a little riskier out there. So that's what I'm here to share with you guys here today. Make sure if you're new to the stock market, after this video is over, you click that very first link. That is my 11-part course on stock market investing mastery that teaches you all about what I look for in stocks and everything like that. It also has my private email address in there, guys, so you can contact me if you have any questions in related to the course. If you're a more experienced investor, check out that second link that goes into my stock options mastery course. That is phenomenal for people that want to learn about stock options. All right, guys, let's get into that. Alrighty, guys, the first one is cryptos, cryptocurrency investing. This is super popular right now. Obviously, this is the hot trend to jump on right now. You see, Bitcoin's up over 1,000% in the past year. Like, people have turned very small amounts of money into very large amounts of money. I mean, think about if you had $1,000 to invest in Bitcoin at this time last year, you now have $10,000. There's tons of these cryptocurrencies popping up. A lot of them are highly risky. I would say cryptocurrencies in general are risky from the sense of they do not have a proven track record as far as most investment classes. Most investment classes have, decades and decades, if not hundreds of years of background behind them. Cryptocurrencies is the new kid on the block. It's the hot thing. It's what everybody's getting into right now. You can't go anywhere without people talking about it. So it's definitely a way you can potentially make a lot of money from a small amount of money unless cryptos go completely away. There's a lot of talk right now about, I just saw a new fund manager just talking about Bitcoin could hit 40,000 by next year. I've heard other people talking about 100,000 within a year or two. Obviously, it's a easy prediction to make, right? When you go on the trend, it's the easiest prediction to make. It's no different than, you see the great football team, the New England Patriots, saying, oh, they're going to be in the Super Bowl. Like, when you hop on the trend, it's the easiest move to make. Going as a contrarian, that's the hardest move to make, right? So, and a lot of people always talk about like, a lot of Bitcoin fans kind of get confused on whether, Bitcoin's overvalued or undervalued, and they get that confused with their emotions about Bitcoin and about cryptocurrencies because, that really has nothing to do with each other. Like, you could be super bullish on Bitcoin for the long term, and it doesn't mean you have to be, super bullish on the price of Bitcoin in the short term. No different than if Apple shares were trading at $100, that's a steal, right? I'm buying those Apple shares. However, if Apple shares were trading at $1,000 a share right now, that's a freaking ripoff. So you got to kind of find out where it's undervalued and overvalued. But cryptos right now is absolutely a place that's just hot right now. You see these prices going up. Bitcoin nearly touched 10,000 today. So that's definitely the possibility of making a small amount of money into a large amount of money. All right, guys, the second way you have a potential to make a little bit of money into a lot of money is through stock options trading. Now, stock options can be phenomenal for a lot of different reasons, okay, other than just taking the riskier bets. Now, the riskier bets with options would be buying call options, okay? If you buy call options, that's definitely a riskier play because basically you're putting yourself under there a time constraint that a stock has to be at a certain price by a certain date. You can also buy put options, okay, which is basically the inverse of call option, which is basically the stock price has to go down to a certain level by a certain date. Now you can make so much money from options if the trade goes your way properly, right? So for instance, last year I bought some Apple call options, okay? I bought some Apple call options. This was when Apple was around $100 a share, maybe just slightly more than $100 a share. I bought these at a strike price of, I believe it was $120, some of these options, right? $120 strike price. And I had to pay around $5 each of these, right? So meaning my cost basis on this was $125. So I needed Apple stock to go to at least $125 by January 2018 in order for me to break even. So that was my break even on that trade. Now, with that being said, Apple shares currently are around $175-ish, okay? So Apple shares right now, as of we're a few days before December 2017, so there's still a little over a month in that trade, right? So Apple shares are around 175. If you do the math on that, you double up your money at 130. You'd make back your original investment again at 135. You'd make it back again at 140, again at 145. Like you can see, this trade is massively profitable, massively profitable. We're talking about over 1,000% return with these options here, guys. So call options, buying put options is a phenomenal way as far as you potentially making a lot of money. Now, at the same thing, like we talked about with the risk, right? If say Apple stock wasn't even at 125, you're going to lose 100% of your money, right? Especially if it's under 120, you're losing 100% of your money at that point. So you really need the trade to go your way. Now, there's a lot of ways, if you get that course linked in that description, second link there's a lot of ways you can make money from options that are actually far less risky than anything in the market, far less than going into a stock. I'm talking about writing covered calls, writing covered put options, things like that are way less risky. However, this is a more risky way that if you have a strong feeling that a stock is going to go up by a certain date, or you have a strong feeling that it's going to go down, especially if it's out of the money, you have the potential to make so much money from options, guys, and that's why it comes in at number 2. Alrighty, guys, coming in at number 3 on how to make a lot of money from a little money is buying super high growth stocks, okay? Another thing that's obviously highly risky. Everything I'm talking about today is highly risky stuff. But what you're looking for with these super high growth companies, you're looking for revenues or profits to be up over 50%. These type of stocks usually are highly volatile. They can go up hundreds of percent in a year. I mean, we've looked at a stock like Nvidia, right? Nvidia is a stock that's up like over 1,000% in the last 3 years, over 1,000% in the last 3 years. And there's a lot of stocks like that that are experiencing very rapid revenue growth, very rapid profit growth, and their stock prices are just appreciating. We've seen it time and time again. Now, on the flip side, just be prepared that these stocks could crash sometimes. Sometimes when their growth slows down, then the growth investors move away and they're like, we don't want that anymore, because now they went from growing at, a 50% clip, a 60% clip, to now they're growing at 15%. We're not interested in the stock anymore. So just be prepared for that, guys. But at the same time, some of these stocks, these super high growth stocks, guys, you can make so much money from them if you trade it right and you trade it timely and you have an insight on why an industry is about to blow up and take off and things like that, guys. So that is why that comes in at number 3. Already coming in at number 4 on how to make a lot of money from a little money would be IPO trading. IPO trading, highly risky once again, IPO trading. This is essentially when a company goes public, okay? You buy it as soon as that company goes public. Now, a lot of these stocks go up massively on the IPO. I mean, we've seen stock after stock go up 50%, 60%, 70% within a day or two of its IPO, right? On the flip side, if you don't believe in a stock, you can also short those shares shortly after they go public. So we've seen a stock like a Blue Apron, right? Blue Apron went public, I think, over $10 a share. Now that's a $2 and some change stock now, Blue Apron is, okay? We've seen it on the flip side with companies like, remember GoPro back in the day? That went up over, I think, well over triple. I think it quadrupled from its IPO price within a 4-month span, quadrupled. So you could quadruple your money in a 4-month span with that one if you had played that right. Fitbit well over doubled. I think it almost tripled Fitbit when that one went public. So if you get on these hot IPOs, They're highly volatile. If you trade it right, you can make a lot of money on these guys. Roku's a good example. That's a stock that, it flew high initially when it went public, then it got slammed down. Now it's flying high again. IPOs are highly, highly risky, guys. They're highly, highly risky. However, if you trade it right, you can make a lot of money from these IPOs. And the great thing is sometimes with IPOs, if maybe you really believe in a company over, let's say, the next 10, 15 years, and you're like, this company's going to be huge 10 to 15 years from now, maybe sometimes it's worth it as far as taking the risk on an IPO, just in the sense that even if it went down, you're confident in that company over the next 10 to 15 years, which is a big thing. But at the same time, realize no one's taking their company public, right? No one's taking their company public and selling those shares to investors at a fair market price or an undervalued price, guys. Anybody could raise capital in the private markets. You don't need to go public to do that. So just realize when companies go public, generally speaking, the owners of that company are selling it for somewhat of an overvalued valuation, basically, or at the least a fair valuation on that company. They're not going to sell it for an underpriced price in the end, guys. However, very, very possible you can make a lot of money from IPO trading. That's why it comes in at number 4. Alrighty, guys, coming in at number 5 is cannabis stocks. Cannabis stocks. This is an emerging industry that is going to be absolutely massive. We see state by state in the United States legalizing marijuana. I believe worldwide it will become more and more of a legalized thing. The same way something like a beer is, or a tequila is, or vodka or something like that, guys. I think over time this will keep spreading and spreading until everybody's got it in every single state, right? And right now, a lot of states are legalizing it. Here in Las Vegas, we just got legalized this past year for marijuana and whatnot. And there's a lot of stocks right now that are highly risky. However, they're going up massively. And the reason being is this is going to be a huge industry. Some of these plays will end up being the next Budweiser. Some of these will be the next Patron tequila, but for marijuana, okay? So for the weed smokers out there, like, this is your guys' big opportunity to be successful at investing right now, because you have insights that other people don't have as far as which brands are standing out, which brands are making moves and whatnot. You have ability to learn things that someone like myself just doesn't know because I'm not in that industry. So you're going to have some huge insights. So if you're a marijuana smoker out there, like this is your big opportunity to be highly successful at investing, because you're going to be able to see trends way before regular folks see trends, guys, and you're going to be able to jump in some of these stocks that are going to be the next big one. I have no clue who the next big one is. I mean, I get questions all the time talking about cannabis stocks. I'm like, I don't know, because it's an industry that's so far out of my circle of competence. I'm clueless on that. But however, man, some of you guys out there, that I know there's a few of you guys that watch the channel that are going to make massive amounts of money because you have an insight on the industry before the fund managers or anybody realizes what's going on and which companies are going to build brands. But just realize, once again, this is a highly risky industry right now. It's in early days of growth. Who knows how many states are going to legalize within the next couple of years and things like that. This could take a while, quite a while to roll out bigger. So just realize it's a risky industry, and also realize that a lot of these companies that are cannabis stocks are penny stocks right now, which is a whole different ball game as far as the level of riskiness, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video today, just kind of talking about the riskier side of investing, which I don't talk about much. I'm a more long-term investor, more fundamental investor, trying to buy undervalued companies, hold them for a few years and sell them off for profits and things like that. However, there's a whole different ball game here that you can go a little riskier, and obviously you can risk losing a lot more money, but you can also risk, you're taking that risk and you could potentially make way more money than you ever dreamed. So I hope you guys absolutely enjoyed this day. Do not forget, if you're new to the stock market, click that first link in the description. If you're more an advanced investor and you want to know all about options, click that second link and how to trade options. Thank you for watching, guys, and have a great day.